Okay, it looks like I'm live. Thank you very much for tuning in to Australian Speedrun's Bushfire Relief Marathon. My name is Schtolteheim, and if you'll permit my nonsensical ramblings for the next 2 hours or so, I think you'll like what you're about to see. This game is Zwei, the Arges adventure. We've got 3 characters we get to play as today. This is Pipiro, but that shall not be her name this day. Her name shall be Stop. The male character's name is usually Pockle, but instead, for this run, his name shall be Dying. We then get to choose what pet to bring along with us. We can choose either a cat or a dog. I will eternally stan the cool cat over the Oh My Dog and the Frankerzy legions, so I shall choose the cool cat. And out of my complete lack of originality, I shall name him Tittle, after the Xseed pet rep. So with that, I'm just about good to go. Time will start when I click OK here. So, 3, 2, 1, go. So, for the uninitiated, Zwei is a game brought to you by Falcom, the company that developed the Ys and Legend of Heroes series that you might be familiar with, particularly for the most recent entries in the Trails saga. This game isn't related to any of them, though. This was pitched by one little-known graphical designer working for Falcom at the time named Makoto Shinkai, and the result is this. A beautiful game with hand-drawn sprites and environments that hasn't aged a day, despite being released in 2001. Right off the bat, we've got a little bit of plot to do. We have to, as the 14-year-old children protagonists of this game, enter the church for our Sunday sermon. It's like I never left the US. And after our activities for the day, we return home after a long day of whatever it is you do in a church, to find our local antagonist running amok. Meet Masky McMaskface, and that's actually not a nickname, that is the name that the game gives him. If that is not evidence to the tongue-in-cheek nature of this game's localization, and if that doesn't sell you on this game, I don't know what will. He has a habit of nothing personnelling people, so he just knocked out that guard, and that is incredibly taboo in the land of Arges, so we're going to chase after him and teach him a thing or two about proper manners. Stealing is also very frowned upon, but unfortunately, Masky McMaskface does not care about the rules. We attempt to pursue him, but our attacks have no accuracy yet because we're level 1. And with that, he's made off with the 6 magical idol MacGuffins of the village. Darn. Undaunted, however, we've decided to chase after him and to recover the 6 magical MacGuffins. Not for fame, not for heroism, but for money. Money is our sole motivation in this game. And by God, we're going to make good on it. So that's just about everything you need to know about this game's plot. Next we're going to get into the gameplay. I need to buy a couple thingies here, because for whatever reason these 14-year-olds have $1,000 of disposable income. I need to buy some of those. And now we enter the first level of the game. This is Caiaphas Woods level 3. Now you might be wondering, what happened to Caiaphas level 1 and Caiaphas level 2? They don't exist. This game has a peculiar system of dungeon design in which the levels are organized not by their sequence, or anything else that would make intuitive sense, but by the level you're recommended to be when you face them. And this, combined with the game's relative nonlinearity, makes for some interesting routing that I've had to do in working out the route for this game, along with a fellow runner by the name of Eagle Captain. So this is the basic combat loop of the game. You have Dying in green, who is your main physical/melee user, and then Stop, who I have selected right now, is your magic user. You can switch between them at the press of a button, and additionally, you can store up charge attacks by holding down the attack button when you have a combo stored up. The most interesting thing about this game's combat system is its leveling system. You just saw me get a whole bunch of food, and, additionally, you just saw me level up by eating it. This is the main draw of the game. Eating food is your only method of gaining experience points, which means that food both heals you and sustains you throughout the game. This means that the speed run turns into a delicate balance of speed running and speed eating, trying to scrounge up as much food as possible, as efficiently as possible, so that we end up as high of a level as possible. Granted, this isn't always possible, but we do the best we can with what resources we have. Anyway, now we're entering the next area of Caiaphas Woods, and this is actually one of the most difficult levels of the game, so I probably need to shut my trap for a second while I work this out. The reason being that particularly keen-eyed viewers among you might have noticed that this level is rated for level 5 players, and I am level 2, which, naturally, is a bit of a problem. So I have to be very careful here, because I can get 3-shot. Like that. Dying is a very common thing in this game. Fortunately, you don't really have much consequence from it, because I have these. These are Venture Wings. I bought a few at the start of the game, and you can use them to teleport to any area you've previously visited. So with that, I'm going to take a quick safety save, and then I'm going to try the whole thing again. You can occasionally lose items when you die, but with safety saves, that's less of an issue. So in we go for attempt number 2. You also occasionally see enemies get stunned and knocked in the air. That is a critical hit, and they're actually not random, they're timing-based. If you look at the metronome on the bottom right corner of the screen, you can see a blue bar that's oscillating between green and red backings below it. If you fire an attack while the bar is in the red, then that is counted as a critical hit. And this stuns any enemies it hits. So that's my main method of dealing damage and getting enemies like those out of the way. Just gotta hit one switch over here. I said hit one switch over there. Stun you. And then we're through Caiaphas 5. With that, we've entered the first of 4 fairy villages in the game. This one in particular is the Sylvan Woods, and these serve as your quest hubs. While you're here, you can visit the shops in the village, you can update your quest progress by talking to the village elders, and you can generally progress the plot and get more MacGuffin items. We don't care about that right now, though what we care about is going back to Caiaphas Woods entrance. Because there's a quest we've been given. A little girl from the village has gotten herself lost and captured, and we need to go rescue her. How exactly she got captured in a level rated for level 0 players is beyond me. But nonetheless, in we charge. Get ourselves a nice tasteful lollipop there. Each food item has a different amount of experience points that it gives you, so some food items are a lot more valuable than others. But anyway, we clear out those enemies, and we save the little girl from her fate of getting whatever was happening to her. I don't know, I don't really read. One nice thing about this game is that despite it being an RPG, you don't have to mash text. All you have to do is hold down Control, and text will advance on the first possible frame. So that's a pretty nice quality of life feature. And with that, we can head back to Sylvan Woods to pick up our reward. we've earned ourselves the water key, which we can use in a specific level if we teleport back to Puck Village. Head down here, and we can access Pavel Gardens, which is technically the first level that you're supposed to visit. But that's assuming you have common sense. And luckily for the run, I have no common sense. There are some very basic puzzle-solving elements in this game, but it's nothing that'll seriously rack your brain. So there's going to be a lot of flipping switches and opening doors. All that tasteful RPG jazz throughout the game. With that, we're through the first area. We can head over here and pick ourselves up a backpack extender, which is nice for holding more food and other items, and another venture ring. And now we get these guys. These are trash NPCs and nothing more. They're there to give you some exposition / tutorial fodder, so think nothing of them. They have a little character development arc that they progress through on their own, but that's not really important. What is important right now is sequence breaking. That ice is supposed to send you in a specific direction, basically the direction that you stepped on it on. However, if you attack on the same frame that you enter the ice, you can cancel your momentum and go somewhere else. The game doesn't expect you to access that part of the level that early, so it gives us a smoked egg, which gives us a whopping 900 experience. This combined with this persimmon that we get, which gives 60, and we are level 6, and now healthily overleveled for the entire area. Just need to head down here. Got one more ice cancel to do. And we are home free. That we've acquired the first jewel item. These serve as magical upgrades to Stop, and I'm going to abuse them heavily throughout the rest of the run. Stop is now the best character in the game, for a variety of reasons. The water jewel, which grants water magic, is arguably the best magic in the entire game. Because it's got a ton of slow, lagging hitboxes that combo into itself. And the main way that you get charge attacks stored up is by getting a chain of 5 attacks or more without getting hit yourself. So you can see where this is going. I just mow through everything now. Head over here. These enemies now pose absolutely no threat. And I'm going to keep mind of how many charge attacks I have stored up, because I need at least 3 for this upcoming area. Ideally, at least. Got a switch puzzle that's a whole lot easier than it looks, and we can head down here to get a food roulette, and nice, got me some cherries. Those are a nice food item for this point in the game. The food roulette gives you a random food item depending on when you hit it. I think you can manipulate it, but it's very difficult, and I do not have the skill necessary to do it. But that's neither here nor there. What is here, and right now, is the first boss fight, which has the unfortunate distinction of being the most difficult boss fight in the game. Believe me on this one, please, it's completely true. So this is Colbert, a stupid-looking cat who's also incredibly ugly, which means he's automatically the antagonist by JRPG conventions. He summons this thing, and I really need to concentrate. See, what did I tell you? That was really difficult, man. Whew. But anyway, having defeated the hardest boss in the game, we get the reward of the first magical MacGuffin. Now we can head back to Puck. One nice thing about this bar here is that now that I have 10 cherries stored up, I can actually trade them in at the bar to get one food item that's better than the 10 I had combined. And I'm going to be using that whenever I can to get some welcome experience. Oh, it was something other than cherries, but the point still stands. Now that we have the hook rope from an item that we picked up in Caiaphas, we can head to the next area of the game, Mount St. Canope. And befitting the fire theme, this place is awful, because fires are awful and need to be extinguished. Mount St. Canope kinda sucks, because the fastest movement in this game is diagonally against walls. The problem being that all of the walls in this area are jagged, so it's difficult to actually move quickly in this place. Mainly boils down to memorization on what walls you can hug and which ones you can't. I'm gonna kill that guy, and ooh, nice, got me some tempura shrimp. I will never turn down food items in this game, even if it would cost me time, because the benefit in experience is too great to ignore. Gotta take care of these guys here. And we're almost through this level. Just got a couple of more rooms of enemies to beat down. That's the really nice thing about water magic. It's very easy to pressure enemies into a corner and just combo them to death. I'm gonna kill that guy because he stole my persimmon. Open the switch to this door. Another food roulette. Very nice. Usually I don't get cherries to both of those roulettes, so it's nice to have those. And we're through. Another cutscene with the resident trash NPCs Tom and Natalia, but they leave us be soon enough, and we can continue to the next area. They also disappear because this game was not meant to be run on 16:9 monitors. Heading up here, this area is a problem, because it's got several enemies that resist water magic, so I need to specifically unequip my water jewel, and then take them out individually. That went pretty well, fortunately. I'm gonna eat a quick thing of food, head down here, get myself a nice piece of equipment that boosts my defense in the meantime, but I'm gonna be selling it pretty soon. The keen-eyed among you might have noticed that I've been gradually taking screenshots throughout this entire game, and that's because of how the hotbar works. You can access items on your hotbar through the function keys. The problem being that I never unbound F12 off of taking a screenshot on the Steam version of the game, so I'm going to be taking a whole lot of screenshots throughout this run. I think last time I checked, my screenshot folder was something like 300 files. This room is very dicey, because these enemies can combo you very quickly. But that actually went really well. Now that we're through the danger area, I can re-equip my water magic and push everything out of the way. Game category is in the top right corner of the screen. This is any percent, just entails beating the final boss and completing the game. No special frills attached. Also, thank you for commenting that, because I thought my chat froze for a second. We're up to the next area, the Salamander's Den. I'm going to, real quick, sell off some thingies, buy a few venture wings for the road, and talk to the Elder. every elder has a quest for us to progress the plot, and this elder wants us to travel to Puck Village to find something to entertain the children of the Salamander's Den, because presumably whatever entertainment they have burns up in the bed of lava beneath the entire village. How on earth the village is still standing is beyond me. Fortunately, we have adequate entertainment in the form of a picture book. So we can pick that up and head back to the Salamander's Den. Now that we have the Wind Key, we can go back to the Caiaphas midpoint to pick up the second magical jewel. One thing I would like to mention real quick is that since this is a marathon benefiting relief from the bushfires that are currently ravaging Australia, I will be donating $22 to the Australian Red Cross, and an additional $22 for every death that I have in this run. So, with one death so far, that is $44 total, and I encourage anybody who is able and willing to keep up the game with me. Because fires are terrible monstrosities, and somebody needs to go up to them and tell them to stop it. I'll be keeping tabs on my deaths throughout the run. In the meantime, this area on the path to the Wind Jewel has everybody's second favorite physics mechanic after ice physics, wind physics! Those are always so joyous. So I've got to grapple with those throughout this whole area, which is why you'll see me spaz out randomly. Sometimes the wind cooperates with me, sometimes it doesn't. It's pretty much up to its mood most of the time. I don't really have any good strategy for this room where I have to kill every enemy within it, so I just try to hit everything willy-nilly and hope for the best. It seemed to work pretty well that time. Got some nice tempura. And we're through. Now we can head back to Puck. And there are a couple of things I need to do here. I need to head down here. And this is Reginev. He is a slimy merchant, but he has good gear. So I need to buy 3 things of dynamite from him, and then update my hotbar to put all of my bombs and etc. on it. And now we can enter the next major area of the game, the Clock Caverns. Gotta fend off these doggos, and the main mechanic here is these mushrooms that you have to push into patches of soil, which is obnoxious, but I gotta play with the hand I'm dealt. And fortunately, I can use the push mittens that I bought at the beginning of the game to speed up my pushing power. And I'll be trying to balance that as much as I can. The problem with the push mittens is that they decrease all of your stats while you have them equipped. Ooh, wait, they died there. I want out of here right now. Gonna eat some tempura and take a screenshot while I'm at it. Picking up some lemons here. These are nice because they give you a whole 250 experience. And a screenshot. And we're through. This area is very hectic, so I'm probably not going to be talking all that much. This is where I die the most often. Gonna head up here, get some nice food items, and that should get me to level 8, or close to it. Not quite, but I can manage. Gonna do a safety save just in case. And this is what I needed the dynamite for. I've got to blow up these rocks to access the next area, and I need to blow up several rocks within the area itself. This is Clot 10, and it's one of the most difficult levels in the game, for a variety of reasons. Almost everything in here can 3 or 4 shot me, so I need to be very careful and use my charge shots effectively to stun enemies so that they don't get to hit me. Because if they do get to hit me, I'm in for some pain. Got some squid noodles here. Those are very nice food items that give me 540 experience. There are 2 of them in this level, so I'm going to be using them heavily. Got a nice thing of money there. I need at least 4,900 penny by the end of this level, so it's nice that I've met that quota. I don't have to worry about that going forward. Another rock to blow up. Swoosh right by those enemies there. And one more level to go. There's the next thing, squid noodles. These rocks can be blown up with bombs. The more cylindrical ones have to be blown up with dynamite, so I need to conserve. I'm out of bombs, so now I have to resort to dynamite. Excuse me, this enemy really does not want me to get by. But it dropped a thing of fish, so it's worth it. My priorities are very strange in this game. One more rock to blow up, and an enemy to deal with while I'm at it. And we're through to the Gnome Protectorate. Got a bit of stuff I need to do here. I need to sell the Sage's Bangles I just got and buy a Stone Ward. These are nice because it makes me immune to being petrified, and it increases my luck, which happens to be the most important stat of the game. And while we're doing this quest, I might as well explain how stats work. You don't have concrete stats in this game. Instead, every stat has levels. For example, your stats start out at level 1, and then your stats level up to 2, 3, and 4, while you level up yourself. So, since stat levels scale, like for example, the difference between stat level 1 and stat level 2 is like the difference between a value of 1 and a value of 10. So, this actually means that every piece of equipment I get scales throughout the entire game. So I've already got to consider what equipment I want for the endgame. In the meantime, cats! He's just an adorable little Snookums. So, the cat will accompany you, and you can set its AI to do various things for you. I'm going to set it to heal me, because its attacks really aren't that useful. You can also actually leave it at home, and it will go on adventures of its own, because the cat is a strong, independent cat who don't need no house. We used to do that a lot in earlier versions of the run, but thanks to the efforts of Eagle Captain, we were able to route a lot of that out. So, much of this game's routing is thanks to him. And now we have the fire key, which will allow us to get the jewel from Mount St. Canope. Before that, though, I need to buy a couple more Venture Wings real quick, because I'm running a bit low. 2 should work. And now back to Canope. I don't notice anything going down on my end. I will work to fix that as soon as possible. Just give me 1 second. I will minimize the game real quick and see if it's a problem on my end. I don't seem to have any issues on my end. Looks like we're good to go. Okay, I'm sorry about that. You didn't miss much. I just picked up a piece of equipment in this area of Mount St. Canope, and then there's a kill-all room that I need to work through. One nice thing that the cat can do is the cat will scavenge for items while they're on the floor, so I don't have to go out of my way to pick them up anymore. Unfortunately, this sometimes means that the cat will get stuck on things, in which it will proceed to breakdance all over the floor. I'm hoping that doesn't happen much, but if it does, it will at least be funny. Got more of these enemies to blast through. I would rather be safe than sorry here, so I'm going to take this a little slow, because that stage has killed me far more times than I care to admit. But with that, we've acquired the Fire Jewel. And now we can head back to the midpoint to finish the rest of Mount St. Canope. This level introduces timed challenges, which aren't that big of a deal for the speedrunners in us. And then I've got a balance between using the grappling hook and using my magic. That is one thing that I find pretty cumbersome about this game. You have to juggle equipment a lot, because some key items that you use for puzzling take up your magical item slot, so you have to swap pretty frequently. And that is one thing that running this game on controller makes more convenient than running on keyboard. In the meantime, I just head down here. I can generally ignore these enemies, because they don't really give that good loot. Bop this guy out of the way. I don't use wind magic as much as I would on paper, because unfortunately its damage output doesn't really match how good it seems. Its hitboxes are immense though, so it does have that going for it. I'm gonna do a quick safety save. And now we're on to the second boss. Resident Nasty Cat Colbert is at it again, and this time, he's decided to summon as a familiar a Chocobo. Get your jerk birds ready. We're in for one RNG-tastic fight. And it's already going sour. This is the attack I want him to do, because it's easy to avoid, and it lets me get in a whole ton of hits on him. That's the attack I don't want him to do, because it's actually kind of difficult to avoid, especially with all the fire all around here. Main thing I need to look out for is that when he gets to around 1500 health, he will immediately run away from me and try to escape. If I let him run away, he'll heal himself, so I need to kill him before that happens, and fortunately, he was relatively cooperative this time. With him down, and Masky McMaskface giving us more exposition fodder, we can acquire the second MacGuffin. Now we go back to Puck. And we've got one quick item that we need to pick up from the resident rich kid Numa. He's the guy who set up the whole 100,000 penny bounty for acquiring the 6 idols, and he's pretty satisfied now that we have 2 of them. So he's going to give us as a reward a magnet. Truly, we are the most spoiled of children. We can go take this over to the Pavel Gardens midpoint to access the rest of that area now. To rearrange my inventory real quick here. Put some food on the hotbar. And now fire magic gets its turn in the spotlight. We can use these magnets to pull these statues out of the way. Got a nice thing of wristwear here. We can sell that later. Crit through those guys, and we're into what I would consider the most obnoxious kill room in the whole game. This place is massive, and most of the enemies in here resist fire magic, which leaves... well, resist water magic, sorry, which leaves fire as our only suitable option, and fire magic is kind of bad, because it's got a relatively low rate of fire. It's difficult to aim because it tends to aim wherever it pleases most of the time instead of where you want it to aim. So there are a lot of issues to work out here. These enemies also like to run away a lot, which is never fun. Where is the last guy? There he is. Okay, there's one more. There he is. Get back here. There we go. After that, we've entered the final fairy village, Undine Land. This place isn't a village per se, it actually got converted into an amusement park. But, as one would expect of an amusement park that is guarded by a massive room full of mid-level enemies, nobody visits it. And that is a problem. So we need to go visit the village elder and tell them why their city planning sucks so tremendously. her solution is to run some advertisement campaigns. We get a poster, and we've got to go put that on the bar in Puck. Scarf down some food in the meantime. Wait for this lady to get out of the way. And there we are. We can pick up that item real quick, the matching duds, which exist for no purpose other than to sell for money. So sell them I shall, and then that's all the Venture Wings I need for the rest of the run. And now, we begin the most difficult stretch of the run. We need to go back to the midpoint to unlock the altar area, but we won't be fighting the boss just yet. We'll be doing that later. Okay, this guy's bodying me. I should probably switch to stop. There we go. Head over here, we can get an apple. Heading over here, we get a nice food roulette. Cherries are always nice. They don't give that much XP relative to our levels anymore, but they're still nice because I can trade 10 of them in to get a hot dog. Because that's how that works. Real quick, going to equip this, which boosts my attack. Going to charge these guys to death, because if they manage to fire off that countdown that you just saw, they will explode, and that hurts a lot. Go over here, get a lemon. We've unlocked the altar, but we're going to warp back to the Clock Caverns, because there are 2 levels we need to complete in there. And they have the unfortunate distinction of being the most difficult levels in the run. Main reason being that I'm going into them 7 to 8 levels below where I'm supposed to be. Head over here, get a thing of milk, which is a nice 1,000 experience points. That'll get me up to level 9, but I'm still very under-leveled for this place. And I need to be very careful when I'm fighting these guys, because they can two-shot me. I'm gonna clear him out first, and now we're pushing. I think I can leave that guy be? No, I can't. Oh wait, no, I stunned them both. Okay, as long as this guy doesn't hit me, I'm good. I'm gonna wait for this. Another thing of milk here. And that'll get me to level 10. Heading over here, I can get a nice thing of shoes and a screenshot. We're almost out of this place. But now we have to deal with this. We are locked in this room with a whole bunch of enemies that will kill us without hesitation if I give them the chance. Fortunately, this is actually going really well so far. Just gotta make sure that these spiders don't get the upper hand on me. Kill this guy nice and slow because he's very powerful. And we're through. We're not going to fight the boss here either. Instead, we're going to go back to the midpoint after getting some nice food. Do another safety save because I am paranoid. And now we can pick up the legendary earth magic. I say legendary in the least sarcastic possible sense. Trust me. First we gotta bully these guys. They actually drop a really nice food item in donuts, but I try to fight them as little as possible because they hurt a lot. Got a nice burger in the chest. Because eating a burger that you found in the treasure chest is a perfectly normal thing to do. Heading over here, we can get another smoked egg. And now we begin what I like to call the flight of the bumblebees. Because this level, much to the chagrin of East runners everywhere, is infested with bees. Bees are annoying because they can inflict shock on you. Well, shock or paralysis or whatever you call it, which slows down your movement significantly. So I need to clear these guys out, and then I can light up the way. At last, all of our effort is rewarded with the legendary earth magic. And now, we can go fight the bosses. Going to configure my hotbar real quick. With tempura, shrimp, and curry. What else do I... That works. It's actually better to fight this boss with dying as opposed to stop, because he can absorb the projectiles that the boss emits regularly. Colbert's at it again, and this time he's got the Chocobo's brother, the Jerkfish. This has been going very well so far. Just one more charge attack should do it. And there we go. Oh, my bag's full. Going to eat some food real quick to remove the burden on my inventory, and now we go back to the Clop Caverns altar to fight the next boss. I want the best food I can manage, and even then I still might die, because this is the most inconsistent boss in the run. He's got a strange manipulation that I'm going to try to show off, but if I can't manage it, then all bets are off. I don't know how Colbert got here so fast, but he's back again, and this time he's got a rock lobster. It's a lobster made of rocks. And if I stand over here, he will rush toward me anyway, which is not what I wanted him to do. Okay, he's being really weird today. Okay, that's the attack I wanted to do, because if I stand right about here, relative to him, the projectiles he fires will whiff. I would prefer for him to do that attack repeatedly, but he doesn't seem to be keen on listening to me. So instead, I'm going to try to do this Oh, nope. Hold on. Oh, I screwed up. That was on me. Oh, but he's given me a second chance! Thank you, kind sir. Just hold that pose, please. Wonderful. Glad you came to your senses in the end. A hot dog toast for our efforts. And for our brave valiance, our reward is anime. We were once again too late to stop Maskface, but he is, at the very least, going to give up the fourth idol without a fight. So we have that going for us, if nothing else. Now we can warp back to Puck. And we've got a new area open to us in a place you might not expect. First, though, we gotta go to Regenev, because he's got some stuff that we want. Despite his sheer lack of ethics, the demands of consumer capitalism keep him around. I want 2 things of dynamite and the Santa shoes. They don't really do much on paper, but they give me 4 additional points of luck, which is very important. Because luck determines the rate at which enemies drop food. So I'll just put these here, and I gotta rearrange my inventory real quick. Slot in the legendary Earth Magic. Snarf down a hot dog or 2. And we've noticed that the shrine we visited at the start of the game has opened up its back door. This has unlocked what I consider to be my favorite dungeon in the game, with one of the best soundtracks that Falcom has ever produced. Welcome to Apliest Shrine. This place has a whole ton of good food items and a whole ton of good food drops, but it is not an easy area because these are some excessively difficult enemies for my level. And I've got to be very careful because these guys can also 3/4 shot me, and they can confuse me, which screws up my controls. Going to drop back and charge shot those guys. Oops. The main drop I'm looking for in here is apples, because I can trade in 10 of those at the shop in Puck for 1 melon, and the boss of this area drops 5 apples himself. Getting sandwiches is also nice, but not completely necessary. I prefer to use my charge attacks on these guys because they can be quite deceptive. And they can also heal each other. And that's never fun. Yes, there is much nomming being had. If I save up 1 charge attack, I can go over here, activate the switch to get a muscat. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. Did you die already? Thank you. Got a nice melon in the treasure chest. Oh wait, there's a thing over here that I need to get. Another apple for my troubles. We're up to level 13 now. And we get another cutscene with Trash NPC number 1. Trash NPC number 2 is surprisingly absent for this, because they're doing plot or something, I don't know. Oh, there's Trash NPC number 2. I completely forgot what she did in this cutscene. Moving on now. One detail I really appreciate about this area is that in the background, you can see it, especially here, you can see the entire town of Puck below us, and as we ascend further up the shrine, the background actually zooms out to encompass the entire continent. And I don't know why that detail intrigues me so much, but it always gets me really invested whenever I'm up here. Anyway, we've got a couple more areas to go through. The stage is deceptively difficult, so I need to concentrate here for a bit. Over here we get the best sign in the game. Gotta go fast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure Worcester would approve. Got some more enemies to knock out, and some more platforms to push. The weird thing about this game's platform puzzling mechanics is that the red orb statue corresponds to the moon, whereas the blue corresponds to the sun. That always threw me off when I was first playing this game. I don't know if Falcom just wanted to be unique, or if that's some sort of cultural divide that I don't yet understand, but it is what it is. And it's like that in the sequel as well, Zwei, the Ilverd Insurrection. I gotta concentrate for this place. There are 6 switches. Either 6 or 7, I can never remember. Oh, my bag's full. What can I eat? I can eat. Okay, that's a very welcome level. I'll just eat these. And I have to unequip all of my magical jewels because these switches will only activate if you hit them with non-elemental magic. Oh god. Okay, we're through. One more level to go in here. Just gonna take those guys out from afar. If you happen to be interested in playing this game yourself, or you like what you see from this, the game is available for, I believe, $15 on Steam and GOG. Its sequel, Zwei, the Ilverd Insurrection, which is fully 3D with a bunch of voice acting and added benefits, is available on Steam and GOG for, I believe, $30. Anyway, we can head back to the midpoint now that we have the light jewel. It's one of the best jewels in the game, but we don't really get to use it much here, because everything here is light elemental. And additionally, if you like what you see from this marathon, then I would highly recommend chipping in what you can to support relief for those affected by the Australian bushfires. Your donations go toward the Australian Red Cross, which is actively working to support those in need as best they can. And I'm dead. That's unfortunate, but the only thing I lost was the battery, so that's not too much of a loss. I'll just have to do a safety save to make sure that doesn't happen again. And that brings my running donation total up to $66 US. $22 plus 22 for each of my 2 deaths so far. A lot of 2s. Fitting for a game named Zwei. Take out these guys again. Ooh, a lemon. And I'm going to be extra careful fighting these guys. There we go. We get this nice arm accessory, which increases my attack. And I'm gonna chug these lemons real quick. Nice melon. Oh, getting confused is never fun. Another melon down here, and that should get me to level 15, and it does. That's my target level for this area. So that's Gucci. There we go. I learned my lesson from my limit break run. I need to kill these guys first before hitting the switch, because if I don't, they'll wreck me. That worked out really well. Nice thing of milk here. Gotta drink your milk to grow up strong. One more use of legendary earth magic. The sarcasm is just bleeding from my voice. And we're through. This is another boss that I'm going to want to fight with dying as opposed to stop. So I'm going to load up my inventory with sandwiches, switch to my attack shoes, do a quick save, unequip my magic, because that turns out to be the gimmick of this fight. The boss ahead absorbs all magic shots until you break his shield, which happens when you take about 2/3 of his health down. I mean, you're not wrong, Sindri. You're not wrong in the slightest. Since I have to get up close and personal with this guy, this boss turns into a sort of a dance. I'm taking a lot more damage than I wanted to. Okay, his shield is down, which means now I can use the better character, and I can blow him away with all the charge attacks that I wasn't able to use in the first phase of the fight. Down he goes. Unfortunately, we are yet again too late. Commence the anime! So we just got a whole bunch of plot dumped on us. Turns out, Masky McMaskface is a mythical warrior by the actual name of Parades, who, alongside his wife/girlfriend/object of interest, fought some massive war 500 years ago that cleaved the entire world, such that humanity had to retreat to the floating islands that now make up Arges and the rest of the world. At some point in time, Parades, despite being immortal, turned to the dark side, and this particularly affects dying because he idolizes Parades. And to now be forced to fight against his mentor, he doesn't really take that all that well. Fortunately, Stop gives him a stern talking to, and they're back in business. Time for Espina Temple. This place also has incredible music. I'm going to readjust my inventory real quick. That was about the most ineffective menuing I've ever done, but whatever. Oh, right, I also need to think of dynamite. And we enter the first area, Hell's Halls. That may or may not get me banned, but whatever. Main thing I'm looking for here is lemons, because if I save up 10 of those, with the boss dropping 5, I can trade it in to get a really nice parfait at the inn in Puck. Use this dynamite to blow up the thing here, whatever that is. And we're in business. need to keep my distance with these guys, because they're small, but they hurt. Pretty much everything in here hurts. So I need to keep careful tabs on where I am. Take a screenshot for the boys and the girls. Haven't had much luck with lemons so far. That's a bit disconcerting, but it's not strictly necessary that I get the 10 lemon item for the run to go smoothly. It just gets a little bit more dicey toward the end. Oh. Thank you. Oh god. My arm item is on F12. I'm gonna be taking a whole lot of screenshots through this place. Relatively easy maze to go through here. Just gotta take a quick left. Wreck this guy. Now head back round the bend, fire off a whole bunch of other geographical terms that I don't understand, and we're almost home free. Got 4 torches I need to light here to disable this crazy gravitational effect. And there we go. Man, poor guy, he didn't stand a chance. Whoa! Alright, never mind, I'm dead. I got womboed. Okay. I don't think I dropped anything too important in there. But that really sucks. I was almost at the end. Alright. Oh, I need to buy another thing of dynamite, too. So I need to head back up. That really sucks. Regenev, capitalism calls you. And I'll buy a couple of Venture Wings to be safe. So that's $88 that I'm donating now. Alright, let's try this again. Man, I really haven't been getting much luck with food drops. Figured I would have gotten at least 2 or 3 melons from those guys. Oh, wait, no, the roadblock's gone. Huh. There goes me, assuming things. I do have to push this again, though. Okay, wow, that hurts. That hurts more than it usually does. there's one melon. Oh, why was my attack garb off? Just heading through the maze once again. Oh, this is gone too. That's actually pretty nice. Alright, I have learned my lesson. Run! And yeah, go figure, the ending was right here. I don't think I'm in any danger of going over estimate. That just really sucks. The nice thing about this level is that it's actually only one floor. The problem being that floor is really large, so I have to bear that in mind as I traverse it. The other unfortunate part is that it requires every elemental jewel that we have, so I've got to do a lot of hot swapping. But it's a decent opportunity to catch up on food. Ooh, nice, got a melon. Lemon, pardon. Those mini Reaper-looking enemies I really don't want to mess with, because their attacks can inflict every status effect on me at once, which is very obviously no bueno. Aside from that, it's relatively standard fare. Yes, I am slow on the uptake with jewel swapping, but that's what happens when I don't have the function keys memorized. Whoa! What on earth is with the enemy aggression today? They're out for blood. Which, I mean, okay, that makes sense, they're enemies. They're presumably hired by Maskface to mess up my day, but still, they'd at least cut me some slack. One last jewel swap, and we're through. Just about, at any rate. I will say the music in this place is excellent. It's not my personal favorite track in the game, but it's definitely up there. And Eagle Captain will do everything in his power to convince you that it's the best track in the game. Do not listen to his heresy. It is a blasphemy upon Apleist. Quick safety save, because this run has been all sorts of ridiculous. And on to the penultimate stage in the... Excuse me, not the penultimate stage, the final stage of SP. And the nice thing about it is that you can actually skip most of it. Go over here to access the end of the first area, here to get to the end of the second, and then the rest is a boss rush. Well, Mook rush, I should say. Really don't like these guys, so I prefer to attack them from a distance. We get a whole ton of nice food drops along the way, so my target level here is level 17, which I should be able to hit relatively easily. Oh, Bag's full. I will... some of you... some of you... and I'll eat me some bone-in chicken. The quintessential American diet. Just eat everything. Another thing of chicken. I don't want anything to do with these guys, and I'm already just about level 17, so I can head to the end. And this is where I really, really need to concentrate, because this is, unironically, the most difficult fight in the game. I need the attack shoes on, I'll eat that. I need as much filling food as I can manage, so tangerines, hamburgers, and I'm going to unequip my stone ward just to have another slot for food. I don't have enough melons, that kind of sucks. But I've been doing pretty well on food so far, so I'll just have to hope that things pan out. They say don't fear the Reaper, but you have plenty of reason to fear this one. He's got an incredibly tiny hurt box on his head, and due to the fact that the bosses are 3D, it makes it incredibly awkward to actually hit it. I really don't want to see this attack because it fires a whole bunch of projectiles everywhere, and it is completely random whether or not it actually manages to kill him. Whoa. He's also incredibly fast, and he hits like a truck. However, you can lock him in this. If you stand here relative to him, his attacks will actually whiff as long as he's still using projectiles. He doesn't always hold true to that, though, because he can just spontaneously use another attack whenever he wants to, and most of his attacks can one-shot me. That was a really good fight, though. Whew, boy. That actually went a lot better than I was expecting it to. However, as is typical with JRPG plans, we are too late to stop Masky McMaxface's grand plan. He has unleashed anime upon the world. So this was Maskface's plan the entire time. His wife/girlfriend/object of interest, Tiara, had been sealing that floating island that you just saw in the cutscene for 500 years because there was a sealed evil in a can that had been running amok in there all this time. He had this whole spiel about, you know, you cannot bear this burden on your own. I beseech you. You must allow me to seal this evil for you. But in reality, you know, guy gets lonely with 500 years of no interaction with anybody else. I would suggest to him, though, it's generally not a good idea to leave your wife/girlfriend/object of interest just sitting there on the floor. If you didn't notice, man, she was passed out. Because after 500 years of sealing the island there, her legs stopped working, and then you just leave her there. You would be a terrible husbando, and I have no respect for you. But that's neither here nor there. What is here and right now is we've actually acquired all 6 of the idols. So we can complete the quest that we set out to do at the very beginning of the game. Hello? Where is the Dark Idol? I didn't drop it, did I? I think I might have. That's embarrassing. but not unfixable. Because if you ever drop a key item, you can talk to this guy, and you can buy it back. Nice little soft lock prevention. And now we can complete the quest that we were assigned at the beginning of the game. Our heroes are beyond ecstatic, as you could imagine, for their 100,000 penny reward, so it's time to go collect it. Unfortunately, the dangers of crony capitalism rear their ugly head to these 14-year-olds. Because the guy who put up the bounty does not have the money. Instead, what he has is a series of golden statues of himself that he will donate to us instead. Because, apparently, you can melt them all down and sell the gold leaf for 100,000 penny. We are naturally incensed by this, so we're gonna blow off some steam by saving the world. Our new mission is to travel to the floating island and defeat the Sea of Evil in a can ourselves. And maybe convince Maskface to stop being such an edgelord while we're at it. As a reminder, if you're following along with my little donation game, I have had 3 deaths in the run so far, so at $22 per death plus my initial $22 donation, I will be donating $88 at the end of this run. And if you are able and willing to donate yourself, I would highly encourage you to, because you're helping a good cause. With the 6 jewels in place, we've opened up the way to Serpentina, and Tiara promptly falls on her face again because her legs have stopped working. I mean, you gotta cut her some slack. She has been standing on them for like 500 years. Gotta arrange my inventory now. I need you there, there. Magnet, push mittens, whatever that thing was, and Santa boots. And now, we're ready to storm Serpentina. Get your sour, please, ready. Main goal of this place is to get as much food as I possibly can, because I need to be, at very least, level 21 by the time this area is done. Given I'm level 17 right now, that's quite the daunting task. Whoa. Fortunately, though, almost every enemy drops really nice food in here, so I'm going to be abusing that as much as I can. Blow up this rock here to get another nice food item. Ooh, very nice. Strawberries are one of the items that I'm looking for as a safety valve, so to speak. Because if I don't get enough food to level up to 21 just by scarfing down what I have, then I can get to level 21 by trading in either 10 strawberries, 10 things of chicken, or 10 smoked eggs. So those are going to be my items of choice throughout this run. Head over here. Scarf down some more chicken. Deal with a really finicky grapple here. There we go. That one's obnoxious, but the rewards are worth it, in my opinion. It's up to you whether you go for it or don't, because Eagle Captain does not. I've been getting a ton of chicken. I don't usually get to save up chicken, but I might be able to this run. Thank you for the heals, cat. Oh, right. This area is pretty confusing, so don't be surprised if I get lost at least once. Head down here. There's a nice thing of food. And head back up, flip the switch, and head back the other way. Only a little bit left of this stage to go. One final backpack extender for the road, and we're through. I'm gonna do a quick save to save, and then I'm gonna eat what I can. Okay, I'm getting close to level 19. So I should be able to save up those chicken drumsticks if I need to. And boom. These are the enemies that drop smoked eggs, so I'm going to be killing these things without discretion. And then these guys drop strawberries, but they're very obnoxious to deal with, so I might skip one or two if I end up with a surplus. Nice, doing alright on strawberries so far. Now we have these guys, these Oni Samurai, who are immune to your magic, so I have to swap off the physical and fight them with that. A Venture Wing that I no longer need. And this room sucks, because they sick 4 gargoyles on you right off the bat. There is a serious risk of death here if you don't see it coming, so I have to be very careful. That went decently enough, though. Bunch of ball and chain boys. Okay, that is them taken care of. That in its place. Another nice muscat bunch over here. Only a couple more floors to go. I've been having very bad smoked egg luck. Hoping that changes. Man, nothing. I don't think that's going to be a problem, just was really hoping for more by this point. I think I've only gotten one so far. And now we've reached the final area. There we go, finally some smoked eggs. This is the last kill room in the run. Just gotta clear out some of these boys here. And then where's the last one? There he is. He's down. One last thing to push. Eat a muscat for safety. Very important food drop from that chest, and that chest contains a champ's headband, which increases my attack. That'll be nice for the final boss fight. One last enemy, and we're through Serpentina. So first I've got to head back to Puck, because I don't think I have enough food to get to level 21 without combining some stuff. So I'm gonna go and get me a nice thing of chicken. There we go. So this, and this. Level 21. Going to equip the Champ's Headband over the Earmuffs, Attack Shoes over the Santa Boots. And then we're just about good to go. I need to make sure I have enough food on my hotbar to last me through the boss itself. And yep, looks like I do. I actually want Dark Magic. This is the only use of Dark Magic we have in the run. But trust me, it is quite a good one. With that, we're ready for the final boss fight. There's about 6 minutes left of the run, so this is looking to be a 1:46 if I don't screw this up. Maskface tried to fight the final boss on his own, but by the laws of JRPG anti-villain conventions, he fails. So the fate of the world rests in two 14-year-old children and their pet cat. This is the final boss, an evil tree housing an unspeakable evil. Ladies and gentlemen, X-Death beckons. And now Phase 1 begins. Colbert's here as usual, but he's not going to be fighting us. Instead, we're fighting this giant eye's hands. And this is what Dark Magic is for. It's got this great 4-directional hitbox that I can use to hit both of these hands at the same time. So I'm going to be spamming that as much as I can manage. Main thing I need to watch out for is I cannot let them corner me, because I will take a whole ton of damage if I do. Like this. I think I can just chip these guys out with charge attacks now. Okay. That was a decent Phase 1. I took a lot more damage than I wanted to, but it worked. And now for Phase 2. A note to the restreamer, time does not end after this fight. There's still a little bit of game left to do. So, you don't have to be quite so itching on the trigger finger yet. I'll let you know when time ends. Here we go. This is the riskiest fight in the run, because if I lose this, I have to redo Phase 1, and that's a good 5 to 6 minutes. Fortunately, I've got some tools to help me out. Maiden and Maskface have combined to grant me one 11th hour superpower to save the day from the forces of evil. And this is what we'll be using to take down this demon thingy. Just gotta be very careful. That stomping attack that you just saw is the attack I really don't want him to do, because it can one-shot me very easily, in fact. It's also very slow. I need to go over here to avoid it, and if I get stunned like I did there by getting hit by a projectile, then I stand a very large risk of getting hit. Okay, he's charging up for another go. No enemies in the way, so that's nice. Okay, he wants to try to charge me again. But he's down. Now that the demon has been slain, Colbert attempts one last-ditch resistance, but considering Colbert was kind of borrowing his power from Maskface, now that Maskface's power has been withdrawn, he's just a normal cat again. And dying misses the greatest opportunity he's ever had to make a cat pun. My disappointment is immeasurable. But that's all she wrote. We've just got to give one quick saunter over to the ruins of Serpentina, and then that will be time. One more room to go, and 3, 2, 1, time. So one nice little factoid about this game is that the Maiden gives you some very sage advice at the end of every playthrough to help you improve for next time. So I wonder what advice she has for us today. Stop dying. I mean, yeah, she's got a point. These names all made sense in the end. And that is Zwei, the Arges adventure. I have to take my leave now, but don't go anywhere because there is a whole extra day of speedrunning goodness in the works here on Australian Speedruns. Up next is Xenoblade Chronicles by Eon Frodo. And with that, thank you very much to all of you in the chat for sticking with me and tuning in. Thank you for representing and donating towards such an amazing cause in Bushfire relief. Thank you to Eagle Captain and the Falcom RTA community for helping route this game and work on tech and glitch hunting. And thank you to the marathon organizers for having me on. It's been a pleasure being here, and I'm glad to support a cause like this. With that, I'll be taking my leave. Have yourselves a good morning over there down under, and I'll be seeing you later.